As someone that's going to juvie, let me show you what actually works to support our youth. Myself as a youth, I was just essentially trying to figure out life. Also having an incarcerated parent throughout all of this journey, I used sports as my vehicle. Football was like the only safe haven, but I ran into some trouble as well. Dealing, still playing sports, still doing me and figuring out who I was as a young adult, knowing that I had a father who was incarcerated for some real risky behaviors. But also having parents, 2 teen parents from Los Angeles. I wanted to do my own thing, and you touch the oven, you get burnt sometimes. And so unfortunately, yes, I did some time in Clark County Juvenile. It wasn't a lot of time, but it was enough time for me to understand that this wasn't a life I wanted to continue. Shifted Theory originally started off as a podcast. My father, he's incarcerated. He would always tell me this message: mind is a terrible thing to waste. When I was able to visit, I was getting some real knowledge, some real game from him and a lot of his friends who were incarcerated. His friends, him, sharing some of their wealth and their knowledge that they gained and what they would have done different. It was what I needed growing up, but also it was something I continued to pass on. As a youth, and my friends, a lot of us didn't have someone that either looked like us or came from where we came from or had a little bit of experience that we were going through. And so I just want to be the one to reach back to some of those youth. The youth that come here are all youth from walks of life. My Monday and Tuesday groups, of course, that's our gang prevention groups. And so you might have some youth that were formerly incarcerated or some youth that are testing waters on their way. Hopefully not, but we are trying to prevent being an alternative method to that. Some of my students aren't in school. They may have been expelled. We have some kids who are expelled. We have some kids who, like I said, who have gone to jail. And we have some kids who are just lacking engagement. But we do have some kids that are on point and just need that little more assistance, that one person in their life that kind of can get them over the hump. And that's what we're trying to be. Wednesday through Friday, it can look different. It's kids in here just getting a haircut, playing the game, essentially using this as a youth center, as a third space. You got home, you got school, and then you have an after school space in between that time from when the youth are getting out of school to going home. Because I knew that's when a lot of my behaviors were showing up, when I knew when my mom was getting off. If I can provide them snacks, I could provide them things that they were essentially go out and look for, as well as being able to pay them weekly. That's a big thing for us here. My goal and my intended goal is to get youth from the city that may not have known each other before, and use it as a small network, just giving them a space to belong or inviting them in, because a lot of times our youth aren't invited in and we're making a lot of decisions for them without them being there. I'm trying to just give them a space to come be themselves authentically, but also engage with the community that they may not have had a chance before. There's a few youth that come to mind that are leaving the juvenile detention facility and creating real plans on one, how to get involved in the community, to stay out of stay not incarcerated, but also to help siblings, to help their friends. They're a leader out in the community and they're turning their life around. To see that and be able to continue to support them, I feel that's a success story. When you do fund these spaces, we're going to see less youth incarcerated. We're going to see more youth in schools. We're going to see more youth in trade programs, or essentially getting into the educational field, higher education. But when I see that, when there's funds or when there's a space like Shifted Theory, these spaces are a hub where youth can come eat, where youth can come wash clothes, where youth can come get a free haircut. And some of these things are supporting food insecurities. They're helping our parents with some of the stuff they might not be able to come up with.
Shifted Theory and other community organizations are already partnering with Clark County Juvenile Department. In addition to supporting youth in their facilities, we also support youth on their weekend reporting, their community service, as well as having their youth come to our programs. These community spaces prove that when we invest in youth potential instead of punishment, we don't just keep kids out of jail, we help them become leaders who give back to their communities.
These youth are very knowledgeable, and I learned a lot from them as well. This is my story, but the future is ours to shape.